friends, as you have seen, I am giving you handwritten notes of BBA LLB. So like, comment and subscribe my channel so that you can watch my latest videos. In the previous video, I have explained what is bailment and its essential features, and today we learn about duties of bailee. The students who are watching my today's video, they must watch my previous video so that they can understand meaning of bailment, and don't skip the video. If you skip, then you cannot understand. So let's start today's lecture. Duties of bailee. As you know that in bailment there are two parties, bailer and the bailee. Bailer who gives or who owns and delivers the goods, and the bailee who takes or to whom the goods are delivered. So here firstly we study about the duties and responsibility of the bailee. So there are 5 duties of bailee, and here I have also written sections under which section of Indian Contract Act 1872 which duty comes. So first duty is duty to take reasonable care of the goods bailed under section 151 to 152. Second, duty not to make unauthorized use of the goods bailed, section 153 to 154. Third duty is duty not to mix bailer's good with his own goods, section 155 to 157. Fourth, duty to return the goods on fulfillment of purpose, section 159 to 161 and 165 to 167. Fifth and the last duty is duty to deliver to the bailer increase or profit on the goods bailed, section 163. So first is duty to take reasonable care of the goods bailed. Under section 151 of Indian Contract Act has explained that in all cases of bailment, the bailee is bound to take as much care of the goods bailed to him as a man of ordinary prudence would, under similar circumstances, take of his own goods of the same bulk, quality and value as the goods bailed. Here care means which an average prudent man can be expected to take care of his own goods in similar circumstances. If, in spite of reasonable care, the goods are lost or destroyed without any negligence on his part, he is not liable in respect of any damage to the goods. It is open to parties to increase or decrease the obligations of the bailee in the matter of care by special contract. In the absence of any special contract, the standard of reasonable care will apply. Under section 152, they have explained that if the goods are lost or destroyed without any negligence on his part, he is not liable in respect of any damage to the goods. It is open to parties to increase or decrease the obligations of the bailee in the matter of care by special contract. In the absence of any special contract, the standard of reasonable care will apply. One thing more, bailee is required to take care of goods bailed to him as a man of ordinary prudence. Therefore, the bailee is not liable for the loss due to destruction of goods in accidental fire. So, second duty is duty not to make unauthorized use of the goods bailed. When the goods have been bailed for a particular purpose, the bailee is supposed to use them only for that purpose and none else. If he makes unauthorized use of goods bailed, there are 2 remedies available to the bailer. One is the bailer may terminate the bailment, and the next one is the bailer may recover compensation for the loss caused due to unauthorized use of goods. So first is section 153. Under section 153 of Indian Contract Act explained that termination of bailment by bailee's act inconsistent with conditions. So this means that the bailer can also terminate the bailment if the bailee makes an unauthorized use of goods. A contract of bailment is voidable at the option of the bailer if the bailee does any with regard to the goods bailed inconsistent with the conditions of the bailment. Next was that if the bailer finds that the bailee is making such use of the goods which is inconsistent with the conditions of bailment, he may terminate the bailment and claim back the goods. So under section 154, the bailer may recover compensation. Liability of bailee making unauthorized use of goods bailed. It is the duty of the bailee to use the goods strictly accordance with the terms of the bailment. If he makes an unauthorized use of the goods, he is liable to make compensation to the bailer for any damage arising to the goods from or during such use of them. So, here even an act of God would be no defense. Here is one example. A lends a horse to B for his own riding only. B allows C, a member of his family, to ride the horse. C rides with care, but the horse accidentally falls and is injured. B is liable to make compensation to A for the injury done to the horse. So such a liability arises even if the unauthorized use was being made with care. So third duty is duty not to mix bailer's good with his own goods. A bailee should not mix the bailer's good with those of his own without the bailer's consent. If the bailer consent, the bailee may mix the bailer's good with those of his own, and in such a case the bailer and the bailee shall have an interest in the mixed goods in proportion to their respective shares. So here consent is of two types: mixture of goods with bailer's consent, mixture of goods without bailer's consent. So here section 155 tells about the mixture of goods with bailer's consent. If the bailee with the consent of the bailer mixes the goods of the bailer with his own goods, the bailer and the bailee shall have an interest in proportion to their respective shares in the mixture thus produced. So next is mixture of goods without bailer's consent. So there are two possibilities. Goods can be separated or the goods cannot be separated. So goods can be separated is explained under section 156. Here, where the bailee has, without the consent of the bailer, mixes the bailed goods with his own goods, and the goods bailed are separable from the mixture so produced, the property in the goods remains with both the bailer and the bailee. However, the bailee in that case liable for the expenses of separation or division and any damage arising from the mixture. Further, in such case of mixing is unauthorized act on the part of the bailee. Therefore, he would be liable for any other difficulty which may arise in returning the bailer's good according to the contract of bailment. Next is where goods cannot be separated. This is explained under section 157. In this case, the nature of goods is such that the bailer's goods cannot be separated from those of the bailee. It is deemed to be the loss of the goods to the bailer, who can recover compensation for the same from the bailee. So here are two examples. This example is related to section 156. A bails 100 bales of cotton marked with a particular mark to B. B, without A's consent, mixes the 100 bales with other bales of his own bearing a different mark. A is entitled to have his 100 bales returned, and B is bound to bear all the expenses incurred in the separation of the bales and any other incidental damage. So here the bailee in that case liable for the expenses of separation or division and any damage arising from the mixture. Next example is of section 157. A bails a barrel of cap flour worth ₹45 to B. B, without A's consent, mixes the flour with the country flour of his own worth only ₹25 a barrel. B must compensate A for the loss of his flour. Next duty is duty to return the goods on fulfillment of the purpose. Under section 159, they talk about when the lender of the goods is to receive no remuneration in respect of the goods bailed. The bailer can ask for the return of the goods at any time, even though the time for which they were lent has not expired. Next, Section 160 talks about duty to return the goods on the fulfillment of the purpose. It is the duty of the bailee to return or deliver according to the bailier's direction the goods bailed without demand as soon as the time for which they were bailed has expired or the purpose for which they were bailed has been accomplished. As the bailment of the goods is either for a certain purpose or a certain period, the bailee is duty bound to return the goods to the bailer as soon as the time for which they were bailed has expired or the purpose of bailment has been accomplished. So, section 161 talks about liability of bailee when he fails to perform his duty. So, when the bailee fails to return the goods at the proper time, he becomes responsible to the bailer for any loss, destruction or deterioration of the goods from that time. So, when goods are lost due to the bailie's wrongful act, then he cannot take defense of act of God but is liable to compensate under section 161. There are two exceptions of section 161. One is where goods are lost due to the negligence of bailer, and the second one is that where the goods are taken away by authority of law. Next section is section 166. This talks about duty of bailee towards true honor where bailer's title is not good. If the bailer has no title to the goods and the bailee in good faith delivers them back to or according to the directions of the bailer, the bailee is not responsible to the honor in respect of such delivery. Next section is section 165. It talks about return of goods in bailment by several joint owners. Where there are several joint bailer, the bailee may return the goods to any one of the joint owners. Therefore, in case of several joint owners, in the absence of the contract to the contrary, the bailee may deliver the bailed goods to any of the bailer. However, where there is contrary contract that the bailee will return to all the joint owners, then agreement will prevail. This section can be studied in two parts, where the bailee has no knowledge of defective title of bailer, and the second is where the bailee has knowledge of defective title of bailer. So, where the bailee has no knowledge of defective title of bailer, where the bailer has no title to the goods and the bailee in good faith delivers them back to or according to the directions of the bailer, the bailee is not responsible to the owner in respect of such delivery. So, second was that where the bailee has knowledge of defective title of bailer, where the bailee accepts the bailment with full knowledge that the bailer has no title to the goods, then he must return to bailer. However, he cannot refuse to return the goods. However, where the true owner demands delivery through court, then bailee must return to the true owner after giving notice to bailer. Next section is section 167. This talks about right of third person claiming goods bailed. If a person other than the bailer claims the goods bailed, he may apply to the court to stop the delivery of the goods to the bailer and to decide the title of the goods. Last duty is duty to deliver to the bailer increase or profit on the goods bailed. This is explained under section 163. It is the duty of the bailee to deliver to the bailer any natural increase or profit accruing from the goods bailed unless there is a contract to the contrary. Here is one example. A leaves a cow in the custody of B to be taken care of. The cow has a calf. B is bound to deliver the calf as well as the cow to A. So, here we have completed duties of bailee, and in the next video I will give you notes of duties of bailer, rights of bailer and bailee, and termination of bailment. So, if you like my channel, then like, subscribe and comment. So, see you soon in the next video.